you're approaching this film. It's leading into the last film of the franchise.
Yes, yeah.
It's so huge. What were some of the goals and the things that you knew these things have to be accomplished before we can get into the final film?
Right. Well, I think the big thing, you know, we all had to sort of okay, we have wedding, we have honeymoon, we have birth, and we have her death, really.
A lot to cover.
A lot to cover. So those are the big, like, oh, God, we got to get those things right, you know? Because people have been waiting for them for so long, and I think have very definite ideas about what they should be like.
One of the things that really struck me was, I think we've seen in Breaking Dawn Part 1 more character evolution than we have in all the other films.
Right, right.
Combined, we see a bit of a different Edward. We see definitely a bit of a different Bella.
Yes.
What sort of progression did you want to see in those main characters, once again, setting us up for the final film?
I think what it is that they're growing up, you know? That they've changed from their... She's not the girl who just came here from Arizona and you know, falls in love with a cute guy in school, you know? They're married now. They have these incredibly grown-up concerns, you know? So for all of them, I think it's also mirrored by the fact that these actors have grown up so much, you know, so that, you know, I think they're so comfortable in these roles now. So I think you see more of Rob. He's bringing more of himself to the role. I think that same is true of Taylor and Kristen too. It
must be difficult too because you have a character like Edward who you need to see some character progression, which you bring.
Yes.
But you can't bring too much because,
exactly.
you know, a 70-year-old man doesn't want to change much. Hundreds of year old man doesn't want to change much. So what were some of the challenges for you when you're looking at a character like him and all the vampire characters, you know, are already so old, in finding that balance of needing to see them evolve as characters, but you can't move them too much.
I know, it is a challenge, but I think the thing is that within the story, first of all, he's happy for the first time. You know, there's a whole chunk of the movie where he's on his honeymoon. I'm like, this is great. So I mean that kind of like Edward being able to forgive himself, you know, for whatever he thinks he's done in the past and just accept that this woman loves him. That represents growth, you know, and that is totally within. You know, he may be 107 years old, but he's been really hard on himself for about 90 of those years. You know, so it's nice to see him relax. You know,
it is, and you know, speaking of which, to me, the most charming and sweetest scene out of any of the films in all the franchises to me was that wedding.
Yeah.
It just felt so engaging and nice and wonderful. And at some point, I even forgot I was watching a Twilight film because everything about all these characters and the interactions was so charming. When you guys were approaching that, what did you want to accomplish with that wedding scene?
I think you wanted to make you wanted to feel like, oh, that's the wedding that I'd like to be at, including like the weird parts of wedding too, like the bad toast and things.
Yeah, that was like hilarious. By
yeah, because I think it's just like that's the thing. They are living human lives, these vampires, you know, and so to be able to see that side of them, I think, was important because that's always been an essential part of this series. I think, you know, that they're not Count Dracula living out in Transylvania, you know, they're just around the corner, you know, and they're a doctor and they're just very nice people who happen to be vampires.